Welcome back to the channel. Shalom to you. If you are new, checking out this channel, my name is Dennis Yahusha Delamar, and I'm here again with another video to talk about some interesting things as regards to film. So, on this channel, kind of what I talked to you about in the Zan Studios update is I want to share more, man. As Yahuwah matures you, it's a reflective moment because as you learn more and more about your gifts and talents, you know, he begins to put you in a position to teach, right? And so, we have Greenwood Film Festival. We have a lot of things that in which we share, but I haven't really shared with my audience a lot of film things, a lot of tutorials. And so today is a tutorial about film. Because you know what? Sometimes, just to keep real, I be on internet, saying, like when it comes to like looking at stuff on film, and you know, it's not a lot of so-called black people anyway that talk about filmmaking, right? So that's one thing. But another thing is that sometimes when it comes to filmmaking, the spirituality of it is disconnected. And so a lot of times you often have just people in Hollywood teaching film. And in my experience, a lot of filmmaking is quite spiritual. That's just the reality of it. I think it's quite spiritual. A lot of the elements, and so I went through this process of kind of learning the Hollywood way to do it. Like, okay, this is how you do it. This is how you like. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And some things are good to get your bases going to understand what you're talking about, understand what you're doing. Because I didn't go to film school, but over time, it was like, okay, I want to learn, like, Yahuwah and Yahusha, please teach me how do you see film, right? And so that was a very interesting moment in revelation for me with Yahusha being the name of the Messiah, erroneously called Jesus Christ, who was a black man, born of a virgin, the Messiah, the Son of the living Elohim. And I say that not to, this cultural thing. It's to get the facts straight, because people get offended by that. But if you're offended by it, I think you need to really kind of like search your heart. Yahusha was the Messiah, Son of the living Elohim, or Lua, from Nazareth. This, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Hey, come and see, right? Because it did. And he died and arose again 3 days, 3 nights, right? So I said all that to say, because when I started just asking Yahusha, well, how do you see film? It was just relevant. And some of these things I got to really unpack. I'm not unpacking it in this video. And I don't want to be too long because we're talking about a tutorial, right? I want to tie the spiritual part of truth in Yahusha and the scriptures to filmmaking, because that's kind of how I learned filmmaking and how it made sense to me, because I was trying to, copy a lot of things that, are kind of out there, and it just didn't really feel authentic to who I am. And so this is where we at. So check this out. So I did this scene, and one of the biggest lessons which I talk about on this channel, and which I shared last time, and which I'll continue to share, is use what you have, right? Use what you have. I teach that, man. I teach that. I share that with some children filmmakers. Use what you have, right? Like, that's the biggest lesson, is use what you have, right? We always looking for the next thing. We always looking for the biggest thing, but sometimes in doing that, you forget about what you have. You forget about the friends you forget about the equipment that you have, you forget about the locations that you have access to. And so as a filmmaker, especially if you compare yourself, and I advise you don't do that starting as a filmmaker, don't compare yourself to, a big budget film or all this other stuff. Just, you need to focus on telling the most authentic, true story that you need to tell, right? The story that Yahuwah is calling you to tell. So use what you have. So in using what I have in that mindset, I was thinking about, okay, equipment and everything. I wanted to do simple scenes that show you and share with you how easy it is uh, to light and to make a scene, because man, it's really only been the last couple of years where I kind of been understanding my style. I'm still kind of growing into my style as a director, but it took so many years to learn how to light. And it just seems so easy, like, no, you just put the light up and you know what I'm saying? But it just took so, and not just that, but for me, everything, because I started as a writer, right? So I direct as a writer because that's kind of how my mind worked. And so in writing, things have to make sense, and things are everything to me that is in the frame is a character. I'm gonna say that again. Everything that is in the frame is a character. So to me, the lighting is an actual character. It speaks to you. It says something. It says something about what is happening. And so versus how a lot of times with the Hollywood narrative of how they teach you, it's just to make it look pretty, right? And it has to look cinematic, right? And if it doesn't look, of course, we want things to be pleasing to the eye. We don't want things to be janky, but it took a while to understand that I need to tell multiple, like, because there's multiple stories going on. There's the main character story, there's a subplot, there's a bigger plot, there's there's many stories within stories. There's extras that have a story. They're trying to get to work, or they're trying to, so it's so many stories, and that's where you create this world, but everything is a story and everything means something. So I thought about, how can I do a very simple scene to share this concept with you? And here's what we have. So, and I'm going to just go through it. Interior bedroom night. A dimly lit room, a sliver of light hits the wall. Dennis in a dark sweatshirt enters, goes to the window, opens, light pierces through the window. He stands there in deep thought. So let's play this scene and let's see what happens. All right. So you see how interesting that was? And I also made two different soundtracks. So just to give you a little taste of like how it's literally this. It's only two takes of the same shot, and all we did was change the music just a little bit. They gave you a whole different feel. Like, oh snap, what's about to happen? The second was like, oh snap, like he opened the window. Like, what's about to happen? And this is the same shot. So now let's just walk through this shot. Let's before we go to the next shot. That was the first two takes, but let's just look at this. All right. So let's talk about this shot. This is take one of this shot. So let's talk about this. Now let's see. And I paused it. I took a still just so us to be able to get a hang of it. So all right. So check it out. So I have how we set this shot up. It's only one. Well, it's actually two lights. So right here we have a LED, right? We have a LED, and it's set to moonlight. So that's about, it's the lowest setting. I think it's about, maybe 2300 Kelvin. And I'm gonna assume you maybe don't know this, but basically, as it regards to light, you have the Kelvin scale, which as I have bicolor lights. So it'll go daylight, which is usually, if you think about the sun's yellow, so that's daylight. And then you have kind of like a moonlight, which is just pure, like a white light, right? So this is set at the lowest scale, which is like a pure white level. I'm blasting it up, and I used these are GVM, I believe, GVM lights, right? So so there you have the 2300 and everything. So this light, right? This light is probably somewhere. It's actually over this direction, but let's for intensive purposes, it's here, and it's letting off light here, right? It's coming through the window, and boom, hitting me here on the face, right? And you see I have a little bit of light coming here, and this is kind of replicating moonlight, right? So I'm thinking about something, and this is where the awesomeness of filmmaking, because with the soundtrack, one thing is saying one thing, and then something is saying else. And what the cool part about what I like about both these shots is it created this shadow here, which we see here. And now I did have another light that was back here. It's kind of hard to show you, but it's back here. But you can see it hitting the curtains, just to give the curtains a little bit of something so we can see it. But I will tell you, it was just cool about this light. So you got a little bit of thing. Now the only thing I say that I kind of maybe two things that kind of stand out to me why I didn't what I could do better in this shot. One thing I could do better is that because this is like outside, I think right here the light is a little bit too strong here. I think if I could flag it, because if you think about moonlight, and that's the thing about when you're lighting, you want to make it realistic. And I always think about telling the truth. Let's go back to the spiritual thing. Is telling the truth is like I remember when I started in theater. That's how I got into film through theater. And one of the things that the professor said is that um, storytelling and these things are like telling the truth in imaginary space. And that was like so vivid to me, right? So I think lighting is the same thing as lighting is telling the truth in an imaginary space. So this is, a character, whatever name we give them. But right here, realistically, when you think about moonlight, it's not lighting up unless it's like a porch light. Now we can play it as a porch light. You don't really know what it is until I told you. But if it's a porch light, okay, yeah, we can get away with that. But if it was like moonlight or something, and then we were replicating, we probably would want to flag this. Flagging meaning that basically you're shaping the light. So what you're doing is you're taking something to block the light from hitting a certain space. So we could flag it here, like get some material or black material to flag it to where it would block this out right here. It would take that out. That was one thing, just being picky. And another thing was there's kind of no contrast right here between, I mean, I could see it, but there's no contrast between the wall and me, right? And so that's one thing, but maybe that's not needed for the shot, just depending on how you go about it. So that's one thing. And but let's move on to the next shot. All right, moving on to the second shot. This was the one that had the dramatic music there a little bit, and so just to liven it up and like I said, and this is once again the lesson was what is the lesson? Is use what you have. Remember, I think about that parable, which I said it all the time, and I say it all the time. But what Yahusha taught, he said, "Be faithful in a few things." So being faithful in a few things is not, oh, I need all this stuff. It's like, what do I have, right? And a good prayer to pray, young filmmakers, creatives, is to ask Yahuwah, what do you have? Because sometimes we have things that we don't even see, right? We have access to things we don't even see, but we're always, kind of like the sinful nature is always trying to find, what we don't have. But without actually leaning into what we do have. So that's always one of the rules that I've learned as a filmmaker and what Yahuwah has taught me. So this is two lights, and this is, and literally for this light, I want to tell you, for this light to light this, really all I had was it was actually like a lamp. I just had a lamp. I didn't even want to bring out a big light because it was just too much. And I had it in the bathroom. And what I did is I halfway closed the door to where it could like just give me a little bit of, a little bit of something here to kind of bring that out, you know. So this is the serious one. This is when I'm kind of up in the window. I told you about here. The light is still here, right? Coming out of here, right? And remember, if you don't have these expensive lights, man, I can show you some of the equipment stuff I had before, and I pray you wouldn't laugh at. Like literally, I think I was trying to find a picture of it. I had a boom mic, right? I had a lavalier because you can get lavaliers for like $15 or something on Amazon, right? I had a lavalier and I tied it to a pole, like a broom pole, and like made another thing to it and made like a boom. So I was using it as a boom until I was actually able to get a boom mic, a real boom mic with the feathers and all that stuff, to get one of those joints that costs, a lot of money. But that's what who is looking for you. Who is looking for you, your creativity in, asking them, what do I have? And, oh yeah, man, I can use my, like, even before the boom pole, I think I was using the phone. So I would use the phone as a recording device and would actually put the phone in strategic places when I was doing, when I think I did Jericho's Rose, and I used that to record some things and to do little sound voiceovers and link that up to, I think I actually linked the lavalier up to the phone and stuff. So, and I think that if you start off like that as a filmmaker, when your budgets increase, and my budgets are still increasing. I haven't did $1 million film or $500,000 film, $100,000 film, right? But as that increases, when you have that foundation, you're able to you're able to not blow money, right? Because things cost and you want to stretch your dollar. And oftentimes, if you try to compare yourself to Hollywood, from what I understand and what I've seen and what I know and people I've talked to, that are, have been in and out of that system, a lot of money is wasted. A lot of money is wasted on just silly stuff. You know what I mean? It's wasted, And so you want to be able to stretch your dollars as independent filmmakers, right? So the light's coming from here, right? One light, bicolor light, poles there. And lights, you see it hitting my face right here. And it's cool because you get a little eye light right there to light my eyes up. That's the key thing too, is lighting eyes is really important. You want to make sure your eyes is well lit, because what they say, the eyes is a window to the soul, man. So the eyes is going to tell the story. Eyes is going to help tell the story. So you get a lot from this shot. So like I said, this could be part of the moonlight situation, or the porch light situation. Now I like this shadow. I think this created really good shadows, because that's almost like a character thing too. Is like, because when I think about the shadow, I'm like, okay, what is this character thinking, right? What is he thinking? And what is this shadow representing? Is this his nemesis of a thought? That's, who is this, right? What is this? What is this in the shadows? Is this, a dark thought? Is this something that's following him? Is this something that he has to overcome? Like, what is this character? And I didn't necessarily like write it. I just kind of like, oh, that's gonna be a cool shot. But sometimes, you get really, just by inspiration of the Ruach, you get different characters and different things that come out of this. But that could be something that was in the script. Like what is it? What is this shadow representing to this? What is the link? Right? Is there a link between this shadow and this character? You know, is this telling a story that, he is trying to, and now you have this light, so half of him is kind of in darkness, but his face is illuminated, um as he thinks about something. What is that? What does that mean? Right? What does it mean that, only his face is seeing the light? But is this a true light, right? Or is this a false light that he's seeing? We got to watch the story. We got to let it play out, right? And so these are things that, this is how, really, if you watch this channel and as a filmmaker, that's what I would like to see in your stories. I would like to see the depth, right? Depth, DEPH, right? I think my English is good on that. But yeah, so I would like to see depth in your story, to people to go back and watch and be like, oh, did you see that last time? Oh, I missed that. That shadow was like, wow. Because something happens interesting. I'm gonna show you in some other shots that happens. That's pretty cool. That I'm gonna show you. So that's just take two, and that's kind of really all I got to show you in that. All right. So now let's play it. And what we did is we just changed the lighting a little bit. We made the light a little warmer, and just changed the music, and watch how this scene just changes. All right. So you see how that changed a little bit, just a little warm light. And so let's break this shot down to see how we actually accomplished. You heard the music was a little bit different. All right. So how we lit this shot. So the light's still outside right here, right? Still doing the same thing. I actually didn't change the color temperature. It's still at 2300 or what. I mean, I'm really guesstimating, but something like that, right? 2300 Kelvin, right? And still coming through here, right? It's there, and you're getting that on my face right there, right? From that light outside. Still same thing going on here. Now, what I did different, you see how now there's a separation now going on, and you can kind of see the wall a little better, right? And what I did is down here is I have like this little, it's actually a little, I mean, it's really a, like one of those, when you go to Big Lots and they got them little lights, them little power lights, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a little round light. That's all it is a little round space light. And it's coming up like this, little round light. Take batteries, three batteries. And I actually flagged a little bit. I put like some black cloth on it to cut it off halfway, so it wouldn't light it up so much, but it almost had like a nightlight feel. Like kind of the room. Maybe there's a lamp over there or something. That's kind of hitting this wall here. Still being able to see the shadow. There was like three shadows on this. There was a shadow up here. There was a shadow up here, but having like, you know, still having that shadow there. We got a little texture here because that's the biggest thing which I had trouble with as a filmmaker is just creating a like texture. Because sometimes I will say that the cinematic part is to add texture and some excitement to your shots, and but we want it to be realistic and real and tell a story, not just for just show, right? But this wasn't like planned or nothing, like, this texture. But this is pretty cool. I love this texture that we have with the shadows. We have him here, and that's what the contrast. Like, you have three things going on. You have the shadow thing going on here. You have the character here, and then you got the blinds here. Now, if this was just like all white or something crazy, it'll be like, oh, this is kind of boring, right? But it's cool, right? So we have all this going on here, and then you had, all the, the music going on, and it was a really good, it was a good feel. It gave us something, and I had that light again come in and hitting there, but this light that was here also helped me, with this wall and everything. Okay, so this is this, like I said, this was the same shot, and all we did was change. We just added a small light to change the temperature, but guess how? It changed the whole mood of the shot. So this was very cool. Now we did something different. We did something different. We did something. This was kind of very interesting right here. So what we did is we had the same light, right? I'm not gonna get into it. Let's just read this part right here. It says the sound of an invasion rocks the room as strips of green light hits the wall. Dennis in a dark sweatshirt with a pipe of steel. Yeah, this my spelling is off. With a pipe of steel in his hand, cautiously approaches the window. Enters, goes to the window. He quickly opens. Um, a green light pierces through the window. Confused, he can't believe his eyes. Now this is this. Now, yeah, let me just play it so you can see. All right, so let's go over these shots. So we had, like, when the shot starts off, we had that green, you know, tint on there. It was on there, on the wall. And then we open up, the light is still at the same. I really didn't do anything to the light other than I just gelled it. Meaning that when I say gel, I put some green. I have these plastic colors that I can just put over the lights to change it to a different color, right? Because I don't have, it's only bicolor. Like I told you, it's only daylight and the white light, right? The moonlight. So I put the gel over there, green gel, right? Uh, I like this little writing thing that I have now. And my writing is not the best. Green, right? So I have it's still at 23K, right? And the light's in the same place. And it's coming through, hitting the wall, creating all this nasty green texture, right? And I'm here with this pipe. And now the cool thing about this shot is when you see it, it's almost like an optical illusion a little bit, because it kind of felt at one point that there was so much contrast that it almost felt like I was a shadow. And then when I went up to the window, you was like, hold on, this is a person in there. So it kind of messed with your eyes. And I had to pole and, just change up the acting thing. But do you see that with one light, the green gel thing that you could probably get at like Michael's or something, like some plastic, colors, and throw that over there. Now we have a whole, it sounded like it could be an alien thing, it could be some kind of war marine, thriller or whatever. But just that easy with a different acting, thing and some movements and a different color light, we have a whole different movie, right? This is not the same movie that we were just watching, with the sentimental music, with the warm light, and then the other joint, which was, kind of dark and there's something going on. Those are like three. We just literally made three scenes in different movies with one light in like a jail or something, right? So I mean, this is like the amazing part about filmmaking is the creativity that in Yahusha that you can have to, and I want to produce more things like this, right? So yeah, we have this, and I just love how this shot looks. The window here, you have um, this going on, and yeah, I mean it's not much to the shot. I don't know if I put that light back here again. I don't think I did. I think I eliminated that light, but I liked how all that went down. All right, so now let's look at this next light. Next slide. So the cool thing about it too, and when you think about filmmaking, you got to think about wardrobe, all this stuff. I kind of thought about it going into this. I wanted to wear something dark. This is actually blue. You can't tell, but white would have hit different. Maybe gave it a different type of feel. But I wanted to play into the color scheme. So this is when I'm just opening the window. You can't, like I said, you can't see the light because it's like way over here. But it's just a green gel on it, and look how it's creating all of this, and the green is hitting my face, you know. And I opened it wider than the other videos. I mean the other shot, so it's coming in stronger. But all this is green. Like it's just, I'm just loving how this is looking, right? And there's this big contrast here, right? And then you have, look at this. You have like the shadow coming off here. This is awesome. And then you have this, possibly again this character thing, right? This story of what's really going on here, right? And this is all you have here. It's pretty much the same shot. Green hitting the pole, and this is actually once again using what you have. This is actually not a metal pole. This is actually a spray painted PVC pipe, which I had for another project, in which it looks like a metal pole because he's coming to the window like, "Hey, what's at my window? Hey, what's that noise at my window, bro?" Right? It could be, and I made some sound stuff up. It did it real quickly, so it's not meant to be this intense thing, but just to give you a picture of like it could be an alien invasion. What do you think it is? That could be a question you can write in the comments. What do you think this? What? Let's do something cool, right? If you want to just engage with this, is that what shots could this be? What things could this be, right? So, right, then you have this, and let's kind of move on to the last one, right? All right. So now we're on to the other shots. And just like I said, I remember one of the coolest things I liked about these shots is that when I came into a space, it felt like when I was kind of walking by here, it felt like I was part of the background, and then I pierced through this space over here, and then it comes out to be, and I color graded the second shot a little bit different, but you kind of come through here, and then it's like, oh, this is not part of the background. This is not part of this the shadow, this is actually, um, a person looked through it. And so the light is hitting very heavily because I put this, we pushed that back a lot. So yeah, now you can see my sweater. It's kind of, I mean, it's bluish green now. You can see that there. The pipe in the hand, right? This could be like one of those poster shots, right? With illuminated now. Um, I would say the focus maybe is a little soft, but and I'm just having fun drawing on here, but yeah. So this is pretty much all to this shot. I mean, you have the window going through here. You have, and this is cool too. You see what's happening is the pole. Is that the pole in the window? Reflection right here, right here. So you have that going on, and I'm just loving this shot. And this, we created this with, like I said, one light, 2300, and this is with the gel on there. And these last green shots didn't have a, because you see, I took that light out like that was from the bathroom. It's not hitting on here, so you don't really even see the curtains. But we know it's curtains because, I mean, this is what this naturally is. It's curtains, right? So we don't have any light hitting here, but it's all good, right? So we got two or three different. We got multiple shots that could be from multiple movies that was created. Literally, I didn't move the light. All I did was put the green gel on there. I could have put orange on here. I could have put orange on this light and then put some haze in there and made it, like it was some kind of storm or some kind of like, Blade Runner type of situation, right? So you could do all kind of things. And what I'm learning as a filmmaker, and this is what I want to teach you and share with you, is experiment. Experiment. Don't be so like, hey, I have to get it exactly like how how this should be. Because oftentimes what I'm learning when it comes to spirituality, or because that word is kind of loosely used in the context of today's society, but particularly when it comes to truth in Yahusha and the ruach or spirit of just moving, is sometimes and I think that's a life concept, is sometimes the greatest things are found when you least expect them, and you're just believing, right? So I just, this shot hit me, and I was like, oh, this is a shot looking out the window, right? And we got all these different cool things happening from just a shot looking out the window, but it was an experiment. And so that's why I want to share with you is just experiment, take time, with if you have a cell phone and that's where you started from, take time with your cell phone just to, because sometimes what will happen in me as a creative, as a director, is you'll write these stories and you'll put these obstacles in front of yourself to not make anything. You know what I'm saying? And so what you have to do sometimes is to have excitement, just live and enjoy the gift that Yahuwah has given you, and experiment and say, you know what? I'm just gonna go out and shoot some stuff. I'm gonna go out and just record some stuff. I'm gonna play around with the camera and just record the kitchen or the bottle, or saying me opening the refrigerator, or just different experiment. Because as you go through that level and it just becomes more real to you, you start to see things, and you start to, because that is the biggest teacher, is actually doing it is the biggest teacher. Um, because Yahusha teaches you through that. He teaches you, oh, did you see how you did that? You see how the color hit that and it bounced off the wall, and what this is, and and so just like this story is, what is this green light symbolizing? And to me, it's symbolizing a threat. this green light is symbolizing a threat to, his, whatever he is protecting, right? That's what it's symbolizing. It's symbolizing, and he's coming to the window to, you know, challenge this threat. So yeah, so just experiment. I pray that this tutorial just, so yeah, that's what I'm just saying is experiment, have fun with the shots, just bring some excitement to it, and just really, because one of the things that helped me out with filmmaking is to think about life. Like, okay, what does this mean? Like, what does this teach me? Like, what is the lens? What is the drive? And to me, that I know that sounds like, you're getting too deep on it, you know what I'm saying? But to me, it's like, we are literally cameras. You know what I'm saying? We walking around every day, visualize it, seeing different things, we recording it in our mind. Different things that we see are telling us stories and telling, how people are moving, looking at people's body language and all that stuff. Like, we're cameras, we're walking cameras, and so a camera is just a replica, like a machine version of a, of a, a person, but it's directed by a person. So it's not the camera's telling the story, the person who's using the camera is telling the story. So we got to make sure that, okay, well, what are, the camera lenses is eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, not technically, because eyeballs is a living thing, but it's a replica. It's a replica. So when you think about that, it's a proxy. And so experiment how to use camera, learn how white light works. I know I didn't get real too much into it, but just like I said, that green thing is everything was symbolizing something. And you want to make sure that everything is telling a story, because everything is in real life, and some people don't think about it. When they build a home, they think about the lighting, and some things are telling stories, and people don't even know that and are being controlled by other people's stories, because they don't know what is actually happening and what the thought that people put in it. That's just like how when people watch a music video and they say, oh, the Illuminati is not real and all this other stuff, but they don't know that there's an art director, and the art director talks to the director, it gets the vision. So when you see these crazy symbols and all this other stuff, it didn't just appear in the movie, in the music video. Like, somebody had to draw it up. Somebody had to say, you know what? I want this in the frame, especially when you're spending thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to put things in and you may not know how this goes, but everything is accounted for. And there's spirituality, there's somebody that is having an intent to put whatever vision they want to put in there. And they may not even know. They may be being controlled by a spirit. A lot of times these people are being controlled by spirits in Hollywood to put certain symbols and color schemes and lighting and all type of stuff. They're being motivated by another spirit, and people are not even understanding that, whether it's lighting, whether it's sounds, movements, and all different things that go into it, how it's influencing them and impressing upon them thoughts that maybe are not even verbalized. But I just want to share that to understand that that's how deep film goes spiritually, is that if you're going to be a filmmaker to tell the truth, you want to be led by the truth, Yahusha Mashiach, and you have to know the truth, that he is the Messiah, the Son of living Elohim, Son of living Alua. You have to know that. And only the Father can give that to you as you seek the truth to know who his Son is, to receive eternal life. And but yeah, I'm going on and on, but that's the good part. That's the good part. We always got to get to that part, because all the other stuff is irrelevant without, the truth, right? So, but that's the tutorial. Let me know what you think. Drop the comments. Let me know. I know this tutorial was kind of long. I was like, I always think I'm gonna do these short videos. It's gonna be like 20 minutes, but but an hour is good for me. An hour is good because I can go into 2 or 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? And Yahusha Name, right? But an hour was good, and prayerfully we'll have. This is my first tutorial, so maybe we can get them short. Maybe try and get them down to 30 minutes or something like that. But anyway, I pray you enjoyed the tutorial, and y'all will. And I'll see you next time. All right, shalom.